Okay, welcome to another part of our discussion this afternoon. And our discussion, we are just continuing from where we ended in biology. That is biology, and our discussion. The previous time, we are looking at the characteristics of living organisms. And we talked about a number of characteristics of living organisms, such as growth. Yeah, we talked about reproduction, we talked about the nutrition, etc., etc. So today we still consider the same topic, characteristics of living organisms. So the features that these living organisms have that distinguishes them from non-living organisms. Okay, we have what we call the movement or locomotion. When we talk about the movement, it's something that we do. Everyone, we move. As long as we are adults, we move. Even babies, they do move. Okay, even babies, they do move. So it is just the ability of a living organism or a part of a living organisms to change the position. So when a living organism changes the position, or a body part of a living organism changes the position, then that is movement. Okay, then that is what? That is movement. And the locomotion, we are simply talking about the type of movement that involves now the whole organism, okay, from one place to another. An example that we can give for locomotion, it's you move from, let's say, from home. They send you to buy maybe some vegetables. You go to a shop. That is locomotion. So you are changing the what? The location. Now, when we talk about an example of movement, this movement, the change in position, can happen either internal or external. For example, the heartbeat, that is the changing of the position. Or maybe we can talk about the movement of the body parts, the handshake and whatever. So those are examples of the movement as the characteristic of what? Living organisms. So it is true now, we can confirm that we shake our hands, we shake our bodies, we can jump, you can sit, you can stand, you can run. Okay, all those activities that you are doing, that is the movement or the locomotion. Okay, we have another characteristic called sensitivity. What exactly is involved under the sensitivity? So this type of a characteristic, it's where now you as a living organism, you have that ability to detect and respond to changes in the surrounding. What does it mean when you say to detect and respond to the stimuli or the environment? Well, a stimuli, I can say it is any change. For example, a light, heat, sound, or touch. So what it means is this. You as an organism, you respond, meaning you react to certain things that are happening in that environment at that particular time. For example, what happens to you if you are cooking, then the pot is hot? Now you touch the pot. What happens? You respond to that. Okay, you react to it quickly, you release. Okay, it's because you have that ability to detect and respond to the surrounding. Okay, so at that point, when you hold the pot, this is hot. No one, you are not going to wait for someone to come and tell you that this pot is hot, so don't hold it. No, instantly you release it. Okay, it has burned me. Why? It's because you have that ability to detect and respond, and that same ability to detect and respond is what we call what? Sensitivity. You see now, if you get a stone that is a non-living organism and we get your hand as a living organism, we say, okay, let's put this stone on a brazier. This stone can be on the brazier for 10 years. Okay, it can't respond, it can't detect. But for you, just seconds. It takes just seconds for you to hold the pot. Then you scream, "Hey, it has burnt me!" It's because you have that ability to detect and respond to changes in the what? In the surrounding. Okay. For example, another example that we can talk about is the eyes adjusting to bright light. If I get a torch, okay. If I get a torch, let's say I put it direct to your side, okay, what happens? Your eyes will quickly detect. It's either when the light is too low, you want to open your eyes wider so that you see, okay. If the light is too much, do you still open your eyes very much? No, you adjust your eyes so that you see properly. Okay, that is the sensitivity. We can also talk about let's say you are running. Then when you are running, then you see all of a sudden you just see a snake. What happens? Are you going to wait for someone to tell you that this snake is going to bite you? You scream instantly, "Hey, snake!" You see? So you have the ability to detect and respond to what? To the stimuli. Now, in plants, this happens. For example, we'll talk about the phototropism. What happens is when you put a plant, a flower, maybe in a room, how plants respond to this sensitivity is that where there is a light, where the sunlight is every day, that's where now the flower is going to respond. Meaning the plant will bend toward what? Toward the light. So when a plant bends toward the light, it is responding to what? To the environment. Where there is a light, that's where you see a plant bending. Okay, we also have roots growing toward water, for example, which we call the hydrotropism. Okay, when you plant a root, they grow toward what? Where there is water. That's where you find, if this side there is no water, then you will see the roots growing towards where there is what? Where there is water. So that is what we call sensitivity in both plants as well as in animals. So animals, as human beings, we respond in a way that shows that we are living organisms, we are animals. Okay, a plant can't shout, okay, "Hey, you're burning me!" No, but for human being, you are able to shout. Okay, then we have another characteristic here, which we call excretion. So we have excretion. We have also talked about sensitivity. We have talked about locomotion and movement. Okay, so we are here. We are done with this one. We are now here on what we call the excretion. So excretion is the process of removing waste products produced by metabolic activities from the body. So the removal of unwanted products in the body. What are these unwanted products in the body? Okay, so these waste products can be harmful if they accumulate. What does it mean? If you want to go to the toilet, okay, if you want to go to the toilet, it means that you have unwanted products. Your body has told you, has communicated with you that these things that you are keeping in my body, in your body, I don't want them. Go and remove them. They are unwanted products. Okay, those are metabolic waste. Remove them. So now, if for a longer period of time you don't want to do that, those things are very harmful in your body if they are accumulated. If you don't want to, for example, you feel like you want to urinate, then you keep urines for a longer period of time. You even feel the bladder starts paining. Okay, you feel the bladder starts paining, and if prolonged urines can even damage what? Your bladder, because urines, they contain what we call the acids, and what acids do is it will start to burn what? Your bladder, and once your bladder is burnt, remember a bladder stores what? The urine. Where are you going to be storing? Where is the body going to be storing what? Urine. Okay, so that's what it means. If you keep these metabolic products in the body for a longer period of time, then they are very harmful. Okay, we have feces, for example. Those things should not be kept in the body for a longer period of time. We have urines. If you feel like urinating, go and urinate. Okay, we also have carbon dioxide. Okay, so carbon dioxide, it is unwanted gas in the body, so it has to be removed when you breathe out. For example, when you breathe in, you see, that is oxygen that I have taken. Now when I say I have removed what? Carbon dioxide. Why? Because it is unwanted what? Products in the body. Okay, we also have the skin that removes water and salt through sweating. When you are running, you sweat. What happens? Then your body will allow the sweat to go out. Okay, that is excretion. So let me just write here the examples here. This is in animals. In animals, so I'll explain here in detail. So in animals, excretion, animals excretion, urinating. Okay, as the examples, urinating, okay, sweating, okay, sweating. Then we have what else can we talk about? Carbon dioxide. We have carbon dioxide. Let's talk about the plants. How do plants excrete? So let's see how plants excrete. Okay, so in plants, like I told you, humans, we use oxygen for us to survive. When we release out carbon dioxide, it is unwanted. Unlike plants, they survive through carbon dioxide. So that means excretion in plants involves releasing what? Oxygen, number one. So these are examples of unwanted products in plants, and these are examples of unwanted products in the body, in animals. Okay, we have water vapor. Okay, we have water vapor through the process called transpiration. Okay, water vapor through the process called transpiration. Then release of oxygen, it is the process called photosynthesis. Okay, this one is transpiration, this one is photosynthesis. Then I think we can talk about these two. They are enough. Yes, I think these two are enough. Let's look at the summary of what we have discussed. So the process movement examples, we have heartbeat, okay, leaf folding. Then we have locomotion, the movement of whole organism. Examples, walking or swimming. Then we have sensitivity, detecting and responding to stimuli. Examples, we have putting your hand from heat, okay, so that you are not burnt. Then we have excretion, the removal of metabolic waste products. We have urination, we have breathing out what? Carbon dioxide. So all these are examples of characteristics of what? Living organism. So for now, we are going to end here under the characteristics of what? living organisms. So if you have any question, just drop a text, then I will get back to you and revise your question.